Wang kills a brown dog, a short story. The narrator seeks to clarify his destiny. "How's your cappuccino?" I asked Wang. He looked up and decided to test his vernacular. "Kill a brown dog," he declared. It was something he had picked up fruit picking. In this context it meant terrific, but it was one of those nuanced vernacularisms that could mean exactly the opposite if said with the wrong inclination. I was full of praise. "Perfect," I said, "in the context." He smiled, although it was one of his muted interior Asian smiles that was implicit with ambiguity. I decided to cut to the chase. "Listen," I said, "I drew a hexagram last night and it's spooking the fuck out of me." Wang was curious. "Spooking the fuck out of me," he repeated. "Very good," I said, "but I want to know what it means." "What does it mean?" he asked. "What, the hexagram? You're the Asian, you tell me." "No," he corrected me. "What does spooking the fuck out of me mean?" "Okay," I said. "I drew this hexagram, number 47, with moving lines, and well, it gave me the heebies. I could hardly sleep." "Heebies," said Wang. "Perplexed," I said. "Creeped out." Wang nodded. "Creeped out," he agreed. At this moment the waitress, Tanya, came over prematurely to check on refills, and Wang, misunderstanding, pulled out his wallet to pay. He opened it up and revealed a substantial wad, I would not hesitate to call it a wad, of fresh $100 notes. Tanya explained his error and the principle of pay on leaving, and pointed to the till at the counter. Wang put his wallet away. After Tanya departed, I asked, "What is it you do again, Wang?" His fruit-picking days were behind him. He had residency now. "I told you," he said. "I work for an NGO." "That's right," I said. "Which one was it?" "I told you," he insisted again. "The non-government one." "That's right," I said. "The non-government one." "Yes," he said, emphatic. A long pause. Back to the topic. "Anywho," I said. I asked the question, and the I Ching not only answered the question, it almost provided names and phone numbers. How does it do that? It's creepy. "The I Ching is an ancient Chinese secret," said Wang. "Not really," I said. "I bought mine at the newsagent's." "Yes, but no one knows how it works," said Wang, throwing in a stray "anywho" at the end. "It said," I said, still amazed, "that the younger sister is not ready for marriage and that I should protect the well in the south. How does it know that?" I had dutifully cast the sticks, dividing and counting, and the oracle had delivered. "What did you ask?" asked Wang. "Well, I'm not telling you that," I said. "It's a personal matter. And anyway," I paused, then continued, "Anywho, it ruins it if you tell someone what you asked. You told me that." "No," he said, "it's not true." "It's not?" "But you told me. You said it would ruin the effect if I tell people the question." "Well, it's not true," he insisted. "Well, why did you tell me it was then?" "You overshare," he said. "It creeps me out." I decided to persist. "And the moving lines? The moving lines led me directly to the abyss and crossing the great water. What do you make of that? It actually said, The maiden combs her golden locks. Kaboom! Kaboom, said Wang. Anywho, I continued, you don't need to know the question, you just need to know the answer. No, he said, I need to know the question. Otherwise the answer doesn't make sense. Believe me, I said, it makes perfect sense. It's spooking the fuck out of me. Kaboom, said Wang again, apparently enjoying it the first time. It's like it can read my mind, I declared. In China, said Wang, we say that the crane flies to a new abode when the ice freezes on the pond. I looked at him. That, apparently, was his contribution. I had 3 problems with this statement. I put them to him in sequence. First, what the fuck does that mean? Second, I thought you were from Laos. And third, who taught you the word abode? It is very bad luck, he said, to ask the same question twice. I know that, I said, but how does it know about the younger sister? In China, said Wang, we say that the younger sister is like the eldest brother. Well, that's not the case here, I assured him. And he went on, we say that she must be cautious with her knitwear. Her what? In China, we have a saying, he said, as if clarifying. Flat out like a lizard. Laos admittedly shares a border with China, and Wang was at least ethnically Chinese, but he had no claim on what was and was not a saying in China. I didn't challenge him though. I needed answers. The oracle seems to know the future, I complained. It's an oracle, he explained. At this juncture, Tanya returned in a more timely manner, looking for any refills, and there was a quick exchange. Neither of us ordered seconds. It was a quick morning coffee before a busy day. How's the cappuccino? Tanya asked Wang as he went to pull out his wallet again. She had made it herself. Killer brown dog, he replied, smiling at her, and remembering pay when you leave. She smiled back, perfectly au fait, and went on her way. Did you hear that? Asked Wang. Hear what? She called me the Wangster. I disagreed. She did not call you the Wangster. She did. It's cool. I've told you 100 times, Wang. I'm not calling you the Wangster. It's cool, he said again. It's not cool. It's cooler than Wang, he said. Well, anything's cooler than Wang, I replied. Makes me sound like Chinese mafia, he explained. Apparently a good thing. Rhymes with gangster. I know what it rhymes with, I said. Was the Wangster posing as Chinese mafia and extorting money from little old ladies around town? I had to wonder. I left his comment hanging so he could hear the sound of it for himself. Back to the topic. Anywho, I tried again. The I Ching seems to know all the details of my private life, and frankly, I find it a little bit disturbing. That was the problem in one of those nutshells they speak of. Not all the details, said Wang. Just the ones that whip off your balls when life bowls you a googly. I looked at him wearily. Bales, I said. Not balls. You've been watching cricket with Jerry again, haven't you? In China, he said, we have another saying. The devil is in the details. That's not a Chinese saying, I protested. My grandmother used to say that. Did the oracle say to speak to the wise one before you act? He wondered. No. It said perseverance furthers. The wild goose draws near the shore. He suddenly took more interest. Why didn't you say so, he said. That changes everything. Does it? How? In China, there is another saying, he began, but before he could dishonour it, I cut him off. No, I said, don't tell me. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Oh, he said, you've heard it then. Our eyes met. Confucius, he said authoritatively. No doubt, I said, exasperated. He gulped down some more of his cappuccino, smiled again, another interior smile, and said the word chuggin in appreciation, an expression of pleasure as in, chuggin. Where did he get that? I left it alone. I also didn't inform him that he had a line of cappuccino fluff on his top lip that made him look like he had rabies. He deserved it. It must be good if the goose draws near the shore, I suggested. He waved me down and leaned forward suddenly and intimated that I should keep it quiet. In China, he said, well, let's just say that's rude. Is it? Was the moon rising, he asked. No, because if the moon was rising, well, how explicit can it be? I was reduced to saying, I see. He did finally offer an insight, however. This time, when he smiled, the line of cappuccino froth made him seem less inscrutable. He wasn't naturally inscrutable. I knew Wang. I had known him since the day he stepped off the bus to pick peaches. Somebody told him that Asians were inscrutable. He looked it up in a dictionary and practiced in front of a mirror. This hairy woman with the gold, he began. No, I said. A young woman with golden locks. I'm sorry, he said. I thought you meant hexagram 53, gradual progress. The superior man should suss it out. Is that what it says? Suss it out? So much for the wisdom of the East. But if she's combing her own locks, that's auspicious, he added as an afterthought. Well, she is, I explained. Good, he said. Very good. He looked at me as if everything had thus been resolved. So, I had to prompt him. It's a good outcome, is it? He finished the cappuccino to the dregs this time and said it again, chugging. Who taught him that? Before saying, oh yes, I wouldn't worry if I was you. I see. As easy, he said, as a dingo's breakfast. Pleased to show me his increasing reach into the colloquial matrix. Should I visit her on Sunday or not? I finally spat out. Who? The maiden with the golden hair. Does she literally have golden hair? Not literally, no. It's just hair. But it's golden coloured. He looked disappointed. But he gave his adjudication anywho. I'd say if she's combing it and the goose draws near the shore, what are you waiting for? He raised his mysterious Asian eyebrows in an attempt at speaking man to man. That was a more fitting conclusion to our morning tete-a-tete, and as if spontaneous, we both put our teaspoons down and moved to stand up from the table together. I had the short black. I'd finished early. I would just say, he said, protect the well in the south. He said it as if it was also extremely rude in Chinese. Nevertheless, his benign reading of the oracle was clear, and I gained some resolution as he went up to the counter, pulled out his wallet, and paid for both of us with one of his crisp, clean $100 notes. Tanya counted out the change and said, Thanks, Wangster. Oh, God, I thought. The Wangster gave her a rabies smile, stuffed a fiver in her swear jar, and told her she was a Sheila, whatever that might mean, as he put his wallet away. At this absolute low point, I suggested we leave. Works for an NGO, the non-government one, I said to myself. You know, I complained as we went through the doors onto the street and into the sunny morning, You're spooking the fuck out of me, Wang.